as I watch the Oilers, there's a much simpler playbook. It's just always give the puck to Connor McDavid. That should always just every play. And I get that one. And I think that's a little more akin to the playbook that God gives us as well, because the playbook that God gives us is everything goes through Jesus. Everything goes through Jesus. And we make it all about Him. He is the center of everything for those of us who follow Christ. In the last little bit, I've been doing this preaching through the New Testament book of 1 Peter, which is a book by this follower of Jesus, this gentleman who is Jesus' close friend, who years after he dies is writing to a group of followers, a church, and a group of churches that things are not going well. And they're not going well because things are happening outside of their control. There's people coming along, giving them a tough time, saying, why are you following Jesus? That your religion doesn't make any sense. We don't like what you're doing. And on top of that, the economy is not going well. Things are really happening. And they're asking the question, why do we stick with it? Why should we bother doing any of this? There are troubled people. They are rejected people. And a couple of weeks ago, we delved into eternity, part of why they should stick with Jesus, because the things of Jesus last forever. So get rid of the things that distract us from the eternal, and stick with what's going to last forever. Last week, we got into when you've tasted God. Learn to crave the things of Jesus all the more. Because as we get to know Jesus better, we grow in our salvation. Then we come to this idea of a living stone. And how, as we get to know Jesus, we become more like Him. Go back to that first screen that I looked at. She come to Him, a living stone, rejected by humans, but chosen by God and precious to Him. Stop there for a second. This is a statement about here is your God. Here's who He is. People who are rejected, what are they going to do? Well, here's your example. Jesus knows all about rejection. Jesus knows all about it. And yet He is held as precious. One who is rejected and yet held as precious. Chosen by God. Last week, we got to the Greek behind the New Testament's written in Greek, and every once in a while I debate how deep should I go into all this, because sometimes it gets a little confusing, but there's an interesting, I might get into it again, some interesting here. It has to do with verb tenses, and I'm sure that gets everybody, who doesn't like to talk about the tenses of verbs, right? I mean, what I mean by that is you can talk about, in that first statement, as you come to Him, you know, there's different tense. We can say, I come, or I have come, or I will come. They all talk about different ways of expressing time, right? Well, this is kind of something unique that we really don't have in the same way in English. It's not just as you came to Him, or as you will come to Him, or as you come to Him now. As you came to Jesus. And as you are coming to Jesus today, and as you will come to Jesus, that's kind of the idea that's behind here. It's past, present, future. It's as you keep coming, as you continually come. That's us. Previous it says, if you have tasted the Lord is good, you will learn to crave Him. You're going to want to know Him more and more as you know Jesus. As you get to know Jesus, as you come to Him, as you keep coming to Him, this desire to know Him grows. And for the world out there, they may not understand that. And these rejected people are being reminded, you know what? You came to Jesus, you learned something good. You are satisfied with Him. You learn to be satisfied with something that's not of this earth, that's not of this day, that's not just the material. You are satisfied with the God Almighty who is eternal. He brings hope to your life. He changes everything. keep coming. Keep coming. And who are you going to come to? This living stone. There's all sorts of opposites in this. You know, the one who's rejected and yet chosen. How about this one? Living stone. Kind of an opposite, isn't it? Ever seen a living stone? Living emphasizes the power of the resurrection. That he is the one who brings life. He is the one who changes everything. And the stone, a rock that's been cut and polished for construction. It's going to become very important in a minute here. You know, it is so easy to look around and try to find our affirmation from people. Community, friends, family, those around us. Where does Jesus find his affirmation? It's from God. He looks up to his heavenly Father, and that's where he finds it. But he's being rejected. Now this is really important. Jesus himself, rejected. He can sympathize with us when something goes wrong. He can understand what it is. And yet, he's also the one, and you know, sometimes we can talk about this, he can sympathize with us, but not only that, he can overcome. Because he knows that his identity is found from above, not from things of this earth. You ever felt like somebody looks at you a little cross-eyed and thinks you're a little strange? See if you know it's out there. Ever felt like you didn't quite fit in because everyone was gossipy? Or, man, turn to Facebook and boy, those posts were kind of nasty today. Something like that. Well, Jesus understands, but he's also overcome. Because he knows what it's like to go through it and still keep his eye on the eternal. That God himself in Jesus rejected, hated, gossiped about, but overcomes these things. He comes to earth in the form of Jesus, but his eyes are firmly above, and because of that, it's going to make all the difference for us. So that's our God. Well, here's how this affects us as people. You also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. Here's your people. Now, Jesus is our example, rejected, yet held precious. We should be able to understand a little bit. It shouldn't surprise us that at times we're going to be rejected because our Lord was rejected. At times we're going to go through hard times, but we are like him. In fact, did you know, we're Christ. When we see that word, of course, it's not his name, it's a title. Jesus' name, Christ was a title. It means anointed one or chosen one, something like that. He's one who is chosen, and a Christian, literally, in that name, is one who is smaller but chosen. Not smaller as in size, but he was chosen and we follow him. We are the little chosen ones. It was tough, though, to understand this. We are like him. He is a living stone, and you also are a living stone. Now, this isn't like a guy named Gary Dahl. Does that name mean anything to anyone? Gary Dahl. His story might. Gary Dahl was from California, and he was sitting around after, talking with friends in the bar night after night. And he listened to their stories, and he heard a lot of them talking about their pets. And he listened to them to talk about their pets, and some of them really loved their pets on the one hand, but they were driven crazy. Oh man, we got to get back and walk and feed and do this and do that. It's a lot of work. So Gary Dahl was sitting there, and all of a sudden he had an idea. And you know his idea. It was 1975, and he had this idea. He was going to sell pet rocks. Put little faces on them, sell them. Sounds like the dumbest idea ever until we realize he sold them for $4 each and he sold 1.5 million pet rocks. Now you do the math. He became quite a wealthy man. He later, I was reading about him this week, and he said later on he wished he had come up with another idea because he kind of got tired of being famous for this one thing. Is that what we're talking about in Living Rock? I don't think so. We're talking about something much bigger and different. The Christians are being mocked and given a hard time on, and one of the things they're being mocked on for both people who are Jewish. Of course, the Christian faith very much comes out of Judaism. Jesus was a Jew, but there's some changes that occur along the way. As this is coming out of Judaism, and as they're now going to a Roman culture, there's something that was very similar between the Jewish culture and the Roman culture that Christians did not have. And that was, there was a big place you go. A temple. A magnificent building. Now you think most people, the biggest building they're going to see in their hometown you might have one or two rich people who have a second story. Most houses are one, maybe 2 rooms. A really big one might have 3 or 4. And then they go center of the capital of their province or their empire, and they see these giant buildings. It's kind of like going to Europe, and we go to see the castles or something like that. It's like doing that. They see these huge buildings, multi-stories high, that take up like a whole city block. They are impressive. They're amazing. And they're saying, so Christian, where's your impressive building? Where's your amazing structure you go to? And these religions, both Judaism and the Roman religion, they have huge throngs of priests who would be in charge of the building and would look after things. And there were people that were being set apart for a very specific purpose. And they would put aside the rest of their lives. And they were, among the Jews, there was the Levites, who, they didn't get a piece of land like everybody else. They didn't get a place to farm, but they had a specific job. They had to make sacrifices, but their job was to bring God to the people and bring the people to God. So, Christians, where is your group priests? They started to have some people who were in charge of the church by that time, people like myself, pastors, but nothing like that. And Peter comes along and says, okay, that's what everybody's mocking you for? That there isn't some big static building up there that impresses everyone? Do you know what? You're the building. You are the building. You are a living stone with Christ, because the temple is supposed to be a symbol of God is here and interested. And instead of it being a building, it's you. You are to bring God to this world. So what that you don't have a big, impressive building? It's you. You have a bigger place. You have an important role. And Christ is a cornerstone, and those are words that we're going to find quite a bit over the next several verses. Christ is a cornerstone of this building, and you are part of it. It is a living, breathing building. Oh, and those priests. Yeah, okay, they all have priests, but you know what? Christianity, it's not just a small group that's set aside to do something special. If you are a follower of Jesus, you are a holy priesthood. You are the one who is to bring people to God. You can pray for them. It's not just some special person who has the right birthright, or they're wealthy enough, educated enough. You know what? Any of us can go before God and take any of our needs to Jesus. Any of us can pray to God. There was that second role that the priests had to bring God to the people, to explain it. Well, guess what? That's not just my job. If you know Jesus, could bring God to people. You could share your faith. Explain where the scriptures have made a difference. Now, tragically, the church has often forgotten that. You got to the Middle Ages, and the priest rose up, and the churches ended up becoming almost like new temples. I gather, I know this. Church history has not always been perfect. But I want today to understand this. A church is not a pastor. It is not a building. It is about a living, breathing group of people who see Jesus as the center of everything. That's what a church is. Jesus being the key to everything. We're going to build everything upon Jesus. And yeah, the world may look around. You're going to building other people. That sounds crazy. We'd rather build it so that it's impressive. And we certainly hear that today. This isn't just something that was like 2,000 years ago. You certainly can hear this today. Look what we've done as humanity. Look how impressive we can make the world. I mean, hey, we're building buildings that are enormous and grand, and we as a people can conquer and do this and make things better, and wow, we don't need God anymore. So why do you worry about it and say, okay, you built this great society, God's building something better out of us. And if we believe in Jesus Christ, we're part of something that He's doing. That's remarkable. But I have to do it through Jesus. If I go and I do the building, the Apostle Paul talks about it. He says, the good things I do, they're like filthy rags. But if I'm just trying to do the best I can, that's not the point. I need to stop and let Him work. I need to offer myself to Jesus, which is that sacrifice that is acceptable to God. Just give myself to Him and let Him work. Just give myself to Him and let Him work. It's all about Jesus being the center. Jesus being everything for me. We're going to come to the Holy Communion table. We do this once a month. Usually on those Sundays we do things a little different. The sermon's a little shorter. Because we want to take a moment in our month just to make Him the center once again. We come to His symbols that remind us of all that Jesus has done for us, what He's given to us, the way that He has changed everything through His cross. And He has truly done everything for us. So I invite our elders to come forward. We're going to come to the communion table.